Have you ever wondered how an empire that started from the nomadic tribes of Mongolia became the largest contiguous land empire in history? Well, let's dive into the mystery of the Mongol Empire. Born on the harsh Mongolian semi-arid climate, the Mongols were not initially a unified force. They were disparate tribes, living a nomadic lifestyle, moving from place to place in search of pastures for their livestock. But everything began to change with the rise of one man, Genghis Khan, a charismatic leader and a brilliant strategist. Genghis Khan united these wandering tribes into a formidable military force. His vision was not just of a united Mongolia, but of a vast empire stretching across continents. And so, with a combination of strategic brilliance, military prowess, and sheer force of will, the Mongol Empire began its meteoric rise. Let's uncover this tale together. The rise of the Mongol Empire. From a large area of flat, unforested grassland of Mongolia, the Mongol Empire rose to prominence, changing the course of history forever. The evolution of this colossal empire can be traced back to the early 13th century, under the leadership of a man named Temujin, who would later be known as Genghis Khan. Born into a world where tribal warfare was a way of life, Genghis Khan emerged as a leader who would unify the Mongolian tribes under a single banner. His charisma, coupled with his strategic genius, made him a force to be reckoned with. He fostered loyalty among his followers through a merit-based system, breaking the chains of tribalism and forging a united front. But Genghis Khan's genius wasn't limited to politics alone. He was also a masterful military strategist. He established a highly disciplined and organized army, utilizing advanced tactics that left his adversaries in the dust. His use of psychological warfare, deception, and shock tactics in battles became legendary. Genghis Khan's innovative strategies extended beyond the battlefield as well. He introduced a written code of law known as Yasa, which brought order and unity to his vast territories. His postal system, called the Yam, was a marvel of its time, enabling swift communication across his empire, enhancing its efficiency and governance. As his power grew, so did his ambitions. Genghis Khan embarked on a series of conquests, expanding his empire from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. His invasions were swift and ruthless, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Yet in their aftermath, they brought about cultural exchange and trade. Contributing to the globalization of the medieval world, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan was a blend of ruthlessness and sophistication. It was an empire that respected merit over lineage, that valued innovation, and that left an indelible mark on the pages of history. In a matter of decades, the Mongols went from being a collection of tribes to a formidable empire. Their rise to power is a testament to the transformative power of leadership, strategy, and innovation, altering the course of history in ways that still resonate today. The peak of the Mongol Empire. At its peak, the Mongol Empire was an unparalleled force, covering an astonishing 24 million square kilometers. Imagine for a moment an empire that stretched from the eastern shores of Asia to the heart of Europe, an empire that was 4 times the size of the Roman Empire at its greatest extent. This was the world under the reign of Kublai Khan, the 5th Khagan of the Mongol Empire, a charismatic and shrewd leader. Kublai Khan's rule marked the zenith of the Mongol Empire's power and influence. He was not just a conqueror, but an administrator, restructuring the empire's governance while fostering intelligence and cultural growth. Under Kublai Khan, the Mongol Empire expanded further into Europe and Asia, leaving an indelible mark on these regions. The Mongols were not just conquerors, they were also connectors, establishing trade routes and fostering cultural exchange across their vast territories. One significant period during this time was the Pax Mongolica, or the Mongol Peace, a time when trade and culture flourished under the Mongols' protection. The Silk Road, an ancient network of trade routes, was at its most vibrant, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies between the East and West. This era also saw significant advancements in technology. The Mongols were adept at adopting and adapting the technologies of the peoples they conquered. From China, they took papermaking and gunpowder, and from Persia they learned about windmills and water wheels. These technologies were then spread across the empire, contributing to its prosperity and power. But the Mongol Empire's cultural influence went beyond trade and technology. They were patrons of the arts and sciences, attracting scholars, artists, and craftsmen from across their territories. The Mongol court became a melting pot of cultures. Where Persian miniatures might be admired next to Chinese porcelain, the Mongol Empire was not just a military power. It was a hub of cultural exchange and innovation. This was an empire that understood the value of diversity and harnessed it to its advantage, creating one of the most powerful and influential empires the world has ever seen. The fall of the Mongol Empire. Yet even the greatest empires fall, and the Mongol Empire was no exception. Even as it reached the pinnacle of its power, the Mongol Empire was sowing the seeds of its own undoing. The empire's vast size, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe, was both its crowning glory and its Achilles heel. The sheer scale of the empire made it a challenge to govern effectively. The Mongols were masters of the battlefield, but they were less adept at the intricacies of civil administration. As the empire expanded, so too did the difficulties of maintaining control over diverse cultures, languages, and traditions. The vast distances and communication challenges added to the strain. Moreover, the Mongol Empire was plagued by internal strife. The death of each great Khan sparked a power struggle among potential successors, often leading to violent conflict. These leadership struggles sapped the empire's strength, as each new ruler sought to consolidate power, often at the expense of unity. One of the key factors that led to the decline of the Mongol Empire was its over-reliance on the tradition of Genghis Khan. While this tradition had served them well in the conquests, it proved to be their downfall in the long run. The Mongols had no fixed laws or succession rules, so the death of a Khan often led to a power struggle among his heirs. This lack of a clear succession process led to infighting and civil war, further weakening the empire. Over time, the Mongol Empire began to fracture under these pressures. The once unified empire gradually disintegrated into a series of fragmented khanates. Each khanate pursued its own interests, often at odds with the others. The Mongol Empire, which had once struck fear into the hearts of its enemies, was reduced to a shadow of its former glory. The fall of the Mongol Empire was not a sudden collapse, but a slow and gradual decline. The empire that had once been the world's superpower, controlling vast territories and peoples, slowly faded into the pages of history. The Mongol Empire, once the world's superpower, gradually disintegrated into a series of fragmented khanates. The legacy of the Mongol Empire. The Mongol Empire may have fallen, but its impact resonates through the centuries. This colossal empire didn't just vanish into the pages of history. It left behind a legacy that remains etched in our modern world. The Mongols' robust trade networks, for instance, were precursors to the global economy we know today. They fostered a cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale, bringing together diverse cultures from the East and the West. This fusion of cultures led to a remarkable exchange of knowledge, ideas, and art, enriching the global cultural landscape. Moreover, the geopolitical boundaries established by the Mongols have endured, shaping many of the nations we recognize today. Their influence seeped into the fabric of these societies, informing their governance, their traditions, and their identities. So, while the Mongol Empire may be long gone, its echoes reverberate in our world. The Mongol Empire, a fascinating chapter in world history, left an indelible mark that continues to shape our world today. Thank you for journeying with us through the ebbs and flows of the Mongol Empire. If you enjoyed this voyage through time, please do us a favor and hit that like button. Sharing our video would mean the world to us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time to join our community of history enthusiasts. We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives on the Mongol Empire. Was there something that particularly intrigued you? Or perhaps there's an aspect you think deserves more attention? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. History is a grand canvas, and your engagement helps us paint it with more depth and nuance. So don't hold back and let's make history together right here on our channel. Stay tuned for more fascinating chapters in world history as we continue to unravel the threads that connect our past to our present. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep making history come alive. This is History Replay This Day.